Welcome to the Lindseth Climbing Center at Cornell University. In this video, we'll review the top rope belay setup we teach belayers to utilize at our facility and what we are looking for during our belay certification process. For those new to this system, we recommend taking our Learn to Belay class to get thorough instruction and practical experience with the skills involved. We'll break down the overview into 5 parts: harness check, climber tie-in, belay device setup, belay commands, and then a review of the partner check followed by a climb. In order to pass our top rope belay certification test, you'll need to explain your setup and demonstrate these skills to our staff. Your climbing harness is an important piece of gear that must be fitted properly in order to be comfortable and safe. When putting on your harness, make sure that the waist belt is high over the hips with your shirt tucked inside and cinched down tight. If you insert 3 fingers under the waist belt and can twist them perpendicular, it is too loose. The leg loops should be snug, and all of the straps should be flat without twists. Make sure all of the buckles are secure before proceeding. When tying in as the climber, choose the rope that is closest to the wall to avoid twists in the rope. Tie a figure 8 knot with 2 to 3 feet of rope remaining. Feed that rope through the tie-in points on your harness, then retrace your original knot to create the figure 8 follow-through, trying not to cross the strands as you retrace the knot. Pull the strands tight to dress the knot, then count 5 pairs of parallel strands to verify it is tied correctly. When you are finished tying the knot, it should be within 6 inches of your harness to avoid getting snagged, with at least 6 inches of tail remaining. An additional finishing knot is not required. On the belayer's end of the rope, begin by tying a stopper knot at the end of the rope with at least 6 inches of tail. The stopper knot closes this end of the system and is identified by its signature X and equal sign. Next, feed a bight of rope through one side of the belay device, with the brake strand of the rope feeding out of the bottom of the device. Then, using a locking carabiner, clip the bight, belay device, and the belay loop on the harness, while holding the belay device in the orientation that it will be used. There should be no twists in the belay device or rope. Verify that everything is clipped correctly and that your belay device is locked before taking up the remainder of the slack in the system. Different devices may require a different setup. Let's listen in now as our belayer teaches her climber the commands she'll need to know to communicate during the climb.
We will now go over all of the commands you need to know to get up and down the wall safely. The first command you need to know is the belay on? This is our last chance to check that we have set the system up safely. I will then take the slack out of the system, and once there is no slack out of the system, I will tell you that the belay is on. And this means that if at any point in the climb you fall, I will be ready to catch you and you won't go anywhere. The next command you need to know is ready to climb. And what this means is you have moved towards the wall and you are about to climb. Once I am ready for you to climb and I am able to catch you, I will say climb on. If at any point in the climb you need to take a rest, you will ask me to take, and I will take all of the slack out of the system again. Once I have taken all of the slack out of the system, I will say, I've got you. If you are ready to continue to climb, you will say, climb off, and I will say, okay, climb on. Once you have reached the top, or if you are ready to come down, you will ask me to take, and I will once again take the slack out of the system and announce that I've got you. At that point, you will let go of the wall and make sure your hands are not touching the rope, and I will say ready to lower, and I will proceed to lower.
While belaying, your brake hand must remain on the brake strand throughout the entire climb, regardless of which belay device you are using. When lowering, use 2 hands on the brake strand to control the descent properly. Techniques we do not allow include leapfrogging your hands on the rope, one over the other, floating the brake hand up the rope without a backup grip below, or the old-school slip-slap-slide technique, all of which increase the chance of belay failure and subsequent injury to the climber or belayer. In order to pass the top rope belay certification test at the Lindseth Climbing Center, you will need to describe your setup and demonstrate all of these skills to the wall staff. First, you will demonstrate how your harness is worn and secured. Next, you will tie yourself in as if you are the climber, and then verify that your knot is tied correctly. After that, you will set up the belay side of the system as the climber ties in, and review that the components are oriented correctly. Once you have reviewed both sides of the system, you will then teach the belay commands to your climber as if they are climbing for the first time. You will then complete a full partner check and belay your partner for a practical demonstration, while the staff provides a backup belay. During the climb, the climber will take one unannounced fall. After the catch, you will continue to belay them until they are ready to come down, and then perform a controlled lower. Once they are back on the ground, your tester will review any necessary information, provide tips for improvement, and discuss how you can practice skills if needed. If you can show a thorough understanding of the system and complete the practical demonstration with competence and confidence, we'll have you belaying in no time. Thank you for your patience through this process and for your attention to safety at the wall.